Hey guys, Gray here with another Destiny 2 video. We're back with the weekly blog update from Bungie, the TWAB. This week at Bungie, we're going to dive right into it and read. So if this information helps you out, please leave a like below and smash that subscribe button for me. It really helps me out. I won't waste your time though. We'll get right into the blog. I'm kind of hoping there's some information in here about Trials. There's been uproar in the community lately about cheaters and some of the reward structures inside of Trials of Osiris. So we'll see if they talk about it at all. But starting off, they say, this week at Bungie, we look towards IO. So you're a few weeks into your seasonal journey. You've cleared the EDZ bunker of Fallen and have been taking the Hive to task on the moon. You've reclaimed the Fourth Horseman and maybe even completed its catalyst. So what's next? They show a picture of the roadmap here again. I'll show it in the video here in case you haven't seen it. But it looks like the next event coming up is going to be the Seraph Bunker on IO. They say Tuesday, the final Seraph Bunker will open on IO. New Seraph weapons and seasonal mods enter the mix, giving you more options to build your monster-killing machine. Later in the month, Guardian Games will kick off some good old-fashioned Guardian rivalry, accompanied by the Grandmaster Nightfall difficulty. This week, we'll be parsing through some feedback we've been seeing since the season launched and discussing next steps for Emblem stat trackers. So it looks like we might just get some info on Guardian Games, which is cool. I'm kind of interested to see what that's all about. But first, they start off with this section. They say focused feedback. Over the last few weeks, we've been watching the conversation about Season of the Worthy and more specifically Trials of Osiris. We wanted to walk through the topics we've been exploring and give some basic thoughts on what we'd like to approach in the future. Some items below may be addressed in the coming weeks, and other may take a season or more to tackle. We're having meetings and discussions daily to determine the best course of action. In the meantime, it's important to us that you know your voices are heard. That is important. I'm excited to see what they have to say about all of this, so let's get into it. They say, card rewards. We've been discussing feedback around a lack of incentive for players to go flawless. We understand that some players have found the first few games to be more lucrative, which we'd love to shift to the later games. Early card token farming, as some would call it, is something that we are very interested in solving. We want to make sure that every Destiny player who wants to play Trials has something to show for it at the end of the weekend. If you guys haven't heard, that's been a major problem lately with something like the week the shotgun was on 3 wins. You would just go unlock your shotgun, reset your card, and just farm the beginning of the card because it's going to be, less experienced players. It's going to be easier for those sweaty teams to take advantage of that, farm their tokens, and get their shotguns. And it's super lame. I mean, I get why people do it. It's optimal. Of course, you're going to do that, but it discourages Trials of Osiris as a whole. They go on to say, additionally, we've seen feedback that the flawless chest isn't comparable to the rewards associated with grinding out Nightfalls. This is something that we'd love to improve on. There are quite a few ways we could approach this, and we're currently discussing what would be best for Trials in the long run. I think if you just at least guarantee an Ascendant Shard, I would be happy. It still takes longer to do that than a Nightfall, but still something guaranteed, or being able to pick your reward like Astacross said. I really like that idea. But moving on, they say disconnections. This should be good. I'm kind of hoping that we get some good news here. We've been investigating an issue that prevented us from enabling rejoin options when Trials first launched. The short version, a player's score could reset if that player left and rejoins the match. So it looks like it was a bug was the reason why we haven't been able to do that. They say since we've resolved the issue, we are currently planning to enable rejoin in update 2.8.1. Thank God. Oh my God. That's really good news. Additionally, our teams are continuing to investigate the rise in error codes since the launch of the season. This is one of our top priorities, and we've made some progress in identifying the issue. What's left is developing a fix and testing it. We want to take the appropriate time here to avoid introducing any further issues into the game. As long as they can enable rejoining for the error codes, I could live with an error code. Seriously, if I got error coded, I can usually count on my teammates to at least be able to clutch the round maybe, and I can join back up without getting a loss on my card. And there's nothing more discouraging than that happening when you're trying to go flawless. Continuing on, they say fair play. This should be, I hope we get some good information here about the cheating problem that's going on. They say, we've seen reports from players that have encountered cheaters in Trials over the last few weekends. What follows is a quick update on what we've been doing to improve your experience and what we're discussing internally for future improvements. To restate the note of the intro, some of these items may not be addressed for some time as we're in early conversations, but we wanted to give you an update of what's going on behind the scenes here at Bungie. They say our anti-cheat is not as visible by design as some security products. However, we regularly detect and remove thousands of malicious accounts from the PvP ecosystem. On the front lines, we continue to implement new anti-cheat improvements during patch releases. We don't include these in the patch notes for obvious reasons, and are always investigating new approaches as cheat developers adapt to our latest tech. Many of the cheats you may find in the wild already have detections and countermeasures deployed or in development, with work being done constantly to keep them updated against new threats. Because cheat developers don't stop, we know we have to keep working to improve these systems. They say, note, this is a tricky line to walk as we don't want to punish any innocent players that may consistently have high stats due to extreme skill, game bugs, or game logic exploits, which Bungie considers our fault. So they consider things like that a problem on their end if there's a bug or an exploit that people are taking advantage of. So you don't necessarily have to worry about that unless they take things too far with the anti-cheat. They say we are working with our platform partners to identify ways in which we could further strengthen our security, and we are investigating ways in which we can let you know when your reports have resulted in a permanent ban or a temporary restriction. So that's, good to hear at least. They did make changes at the beginning of the season to socket RIPs behind the Steam network, which is nice. They eliminated DDoSing by doing that, and that was an extremely smart move. It looks like that's what's resulted in some error codes and things happening now, but I'll take an error code over being DDoSed any day. Really, they both stink, but at least it's not someone else blatantly cheating and taking advantage of me. They go on to say, additionally, we wanted to give a few tips on information that helps us during our investigations. They say, important note, do not post any of this information publicly. Not on Reddit, not on the Bungie forums. This information should only go in this specific form. Here's the information we're looking for. The display name of the player, the display name of the suspects, or any other identifying information that you have, clan name or Steam ID. Explain what happened, note the platform it was on, and provide a link to the post-game Carnage report on Bungie.net. So that's what they kind of want to see in some of their reports if you do fill out a form about cheating. It's kind of a pain. I mean, I don't think anybody's really going out of their way to do that beyond reporting in-game. But if you want to do that, I'll leave the information up here, and you can go through all those steps to really make sure someone gets banned. And if you do, good on you. That's good to see. And they say, and if possible, give us links to any video evidence. If you happen to be recording these cheaters, even better. That's going to guarantee their ban, basically. They say, I know that some of you out there may find the statement of "we're listening" to be a repetitive cliche of community management, but the first step toward taking action is to listen. We've been collecting your feedback and looking to fully understand the root of the perceived issues that are being discussed by players in the wild. Your voice is important to us and helps us as we walk the path to what's next in Destiny 2. We'll be sure to keep you updated on our plans as they become more concrete, and we thank you for your continued feedback on the game. Speaking of the future, let's talk about stat trackers. All right, well, it looks like this is kind of a long TWAB this week. They go on and say, back on track. At the beginning of the season, changes were introduced to stat trackers to give players more ways to express their achievements in Destiny 2. We introduced weekly, seasonal, and lifetime trackers, and these were completely optional to those who might want to have a clean emblem. It's kind of nice. I do like the new system, be it I know a lot of people have complaints about it, but I don't really care about stat trackers too much. It's nice to just have the clean emblem for me personally, but I know it's important, and there are certain ones I do care about that did get taken away. So let's see what they have to say about that. They're going to be bringing back some more stat trackers in the next update. I think that's coming in a week or two. They're going to bring back, Season 8 and 9 Season Pass ranks. There's a whole list of them here, actually. The Fractaline, Haunted Forest, all sorts of them. I'll leave a picture on the screen here. There's kills with all your individual subclass. The Crucible ones are coming back, gold medals, all of those. It looks like they just switched over to a new system and needed some time to bring all the old trackers into the new system. There's a lot here. I'm going to show them all, but it looks like they're bringing back the majority of stat trackers in the game. They say, we understand that there may be a few stats that are still not present that you're interested in returning. To be clear, we have a hard cap on how many stats can be listed on emblems, so we want to make sure we have room to grow in the future. Please continue to give feedback on what you'd like to see, and we'll keep you in the know of what our plans are. So that's good to know for some of the people that were disappointed with the emblem changes. You're going to get your stat trackers back, so I think some people will be happy about that. But moving on, we have Under the Magnifying Glass. They say no stone is left unturned when Destiny player support is on the case. When issues begin to trend, they disperse troubleshooting articles, but also dig deep to diagnose the issues. This is their report. With the most recent hotfix, they say on Tuesday we released hotfix 2.8.0.2 to the world. While maintenance was underway, we incorrectly noted 2 items in the patch notes. A fix where bunker upgrades on the season pass are only unlocked on one character, and a fix where the first weekly clear of the legendary lost sector wasn't rewarding a powerful drop. They were not fixed in the latest update. That will be fixed in a future update. They go on to talk about some known issues currently. There's some more error codes, Watercress and Newt. They say they've identified the issue with the Fellwinter's helm. It's been disabled until they can fix it. I hope they fix it quick because Fellwinter's that's a really badass exotic. And Raiju's harness just came back to us. That one was disabled with a bug, and that one's super cool too. So hopefully we'll get Fellwinter's back soon. They say they're investigating reports of players who have their emblems blacked out completely in the roster tab. I think some people actually know how this works. If you see your friends showing up with black names, you can't inspect them. You need to restart your game, basically. You guys are basically in different instances, and you won't be able to see them or any of their information. But if you restart, it typically clears it up. The level 32 PDS upgrade can only be used to clear the bunker by the character who unlocked the bunker. Some more season pass problems. The rank 92 season pass can only be claimed on the character you originally claimed it on. And they say the Cloak of the Exile Trials armor is not glowing properly when going flawless in Trials of Osiris. So it is supposed to glow. I think some people were talking about the Hunter Cloak not glowing for some reason. They thought maybe by design it didn't. But I thought it was supposed to glow, and I hope they fix that soon because that's the only reason to go flawless right now is for the glow. They say defeating an enemy with the ranged Celestial Fire does not trigger the Warlord Sigil perk on Winter's Guile. And they fixed some lore pieces not properly unlocking for certain players. So moving on, they have the videos of the week that they always have. They're kind of cool. They're usually pretty silly. But they're going to close out the TWAB by saying the days and weeks are beginning to meld together. As our local weather station put it, we've entered the month of Maprelay. The sun continues to rise and fall, but it's becoming a little difficult to keep track of what day it is. Thankfully, we have Destiny 2 to bring us together during these times of isolation. Sometimes the only thing I have to remind me of what day of the week we are living is this every Thursday Mainstay blog article. I'd like to take a moment to highlight the essential workers of the world. While we're all in this together, we couldn't do it without you. You are all legends in our eyes. You're hoping to keep the world spinning in times of crisis, and we cannot thank you enough for your efforts. We're cooking up some initiatives on our side to amplify the good in this world. More on that soon. Much love, DMG. I'm sure that the Bungie Foundation is probably going to have something, a fundraiser of some kind coming soon to help out people who are maybe out of work, especially people in Washington who can't work at all. This whole crazy whirlwind of stuff going on in the world right now has a lot of people concerned, and it's cool that we have games and stuff to keep us all going and give us that sense of community when you can't really go be social outside. So thanks for stopping by and checking out the blog this week. I really appreciate your time and for all the support I've gotten on the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on some of the latest Destiny information. But thanks for stopping by again. Bye-bye.